Okay, so today I want to talk to you about scorecards or dashboards or KPIs or key metrics or whatever you call the cold hard data that you run your business with. It normally forms part of a leadership team meeting, okay, normally early on in that meeting. Now, I see a lot of scorecards. I love it as a tool. Definitely use one. However, it needs to be used right. And I see very often just 2 or 3 quite simple, subtle, but yet actually quite important mistakes in scorecards that tend to make that process a little bit more painful, and you don't get quite as much out of them as you would like. So here are my 5 top tips for creating a great scorecard. Number 1, 3 to 7 metrics only. Okay, there are hundreds of metrics out there, but there really are only a handful that will tell you the health of your business. Imagine you're on a desert island. You need 3 to 7 metrics only that will tell you how healthy your business is operating, and stick to those only. Secondly, make sure that that scorecard is created, the data within it is created by the same definition from the same source by the same people week in, week out. It doesn't need to be one person for all of it, but each number does not change the source or the person that does it or the definition. We've all been in those, frankly, awful meetings where the head of finance is arguing with the head of marketing. They both have a different number for the same metric. 15 minutes goes by. We're never going to get that back from our lives. Okay. Now, the way to avoid those is just to have the same definition each week, and you'll avoid any of that waste of everyone's time. Thirdly, weekly metrics only. Monthly, quarterly metrics, they have their place, but this is not what we're talking about here. We want you to track weekly metrics. The reason for this is that we want to shorten the time between activity, learning, and reaction. The quicker you do this, the more agile you become as a business, the quicker you solve your own problems, the quicker you learn what your customers like and do not like. And even better, you'll more likely do this faster than your competitors. In military terms, you'll get inside their OODA loop, all right, which will enable you over long term to move quicker than them and beat them in your particular sector. My 4th top tip is to try and use leading versus lagging metrics as far as possible. Now, if you're not familiar with this term, a lagging metric is something that reports on how well you did in a previous time period, so last week. So it might be sales last week, for instance. A leading metric is a metric that will predict how well you're going to perform this week or next week, perhaps. So it might be something like number of new leads or website traffic, something like that. Now, a subset of leading metrics are activity-based metrics. Now, these are the activities that you do as a company that will tend to cause positive business results. So this might be something like number of sales calls made, or it might be number of blog posts, or it might even be ad spend. Okay, so make sure you've got as many activity-based metrics in there as possible. You'll need a bit of a blend of all of them, but make sure you've got some in there. Lastly, my 5th top tip is that you track 13 weeks of history on your scorecard. So whenever you look at it, you have a quarter's worth of data, and then you have the latest weekly numbers. Now, this is really powerful because it turns your scorecard not only into a reporting tool, but also into a predictive tool and an analysis tool. It will show you where you're most likely to be next week. It will also show you the correlations and patterns between certain bits of data. It'll probably show you how you can probably get rid of one metric, or you might need to replace it with another. It's very, very powerful, so always try and keep 13 weeks of history. And that's it. That's my 5 top tips. If you would like to learn a little bit more, ask any questions, please feel to reach out, drop me an email, give me a call. My details are on my LinkedIn page. And I'm very happy also send you a copy of a template that I have. So drop me a line, and I hope you found that useful.